All right, everybody, what's going on? Hey, we're still plugging away on this this is the Skoolie project here. I'm going to show you kind of some things that we've done, and I'm going to show you some things that we're going to change, and then I'm going to do a quick install on some plumbing here. Right now what I'm working on is I'm working on finishing the plumbing here. We've got, flexible piping coming through back here. It's going to go into this pipe, which will be locked down. And then I've got a HEP flow valve here. Now this is a heavy duty one. This one's actually used for sump pumps, but I figure the heavier the better. And of course we got the flow going this way, and then we're going to have the pipe come out and go straight down into the gray water tank. This side, the only plumbing I'm going to have back here in this bathroom is I'll have a P drain, and then it'll drain back behind this wall, and it'll only be like a 1-inch piece of PEX, and then it'll drain, and it'll hook into the kitchen sink drain and drain straight down into the it'll drain straight down this way. And I haven't decided whether I'm going to put an additional gray water tank on this side. I may do that, or if I'm just going to run all of the sink and stuff under the bus directly this way, and then that way it'll go into this tank. But I think I'm probably going to do 2 separate tanks. I'll have a third tank in the back, and that's going to be under the bus, and that will be for the shower recirculating system. So that'll have its own dump valve as well. I'm trying to be very careful with the placement of this, because I've got a cabinet that's going to be here, and it's going to come to about right here. So it's going to be about 4 feet wide, and with a countertop on it and everything. So I'm trying to pay close attention to where I put this HEP flow valve. I want to be able to reach in here, unhook it, and clean it out if I need to. I feel like that the washer and dryer combo is probably going to create some sort of lint. And so as water drains through, I feel like that lint may get caught in this little valve. So I want to have easy access where I can get in here and I can clean this out fairly easily. This really needs to be behind, on this side of the fixtures, because if I put this on the other side of the washer dryer, then I could get smells coming up through the washer drain. And I don't want that. I want to make sure that no smells are coming from the tank down here. So with that said, this is where this is going to live. And this is just one of those flexible HEP flow valves. This one is actually from a sump pump. It's a heavy duty sump pump HEP flow valve. So I think that's going to do the trick. Yeah. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm trying to figure out where I need to drill. I want this back as far as I can get it, so the set of drawers that I have right here in this cabinet are not impeded by this, or I want to minimize the amount that this affects the size of my drawers. So, more than likely what I'm going to do is this little square right here will be left open, and then the countertop and the cabinet and the drawers and all that will hide this. If I ever need to get in here and clean this out, I could just take the drawers out, and then I can crawl in here and unscrew these with the ratchet, and then I'll be able to deal with it like that. It's always scary when you put a hole in your bus, let me just tell you. So what I'm going to do is I've kind of got an idea of where I need it to be I need it to be about a little bit farther than the center of this window, so right about where this is. I'm going to go under there, and I'm just going to drill a tiny hole. I'm going to drill up through into the floor, and hopefully I'll hit my mark as close as possible. See you under the bus. All right, so there's a hole. I'm gonna go see where that came out, and then I can gauge, you know, if, I mean, I technically can probably come over a little bit, but I don't want to be too close to the edge of the tank. Any closer, you know, maybe pushing a little bit, so I think that's good. So let's go up top and see how we did. All right, I'm thinking that hole's gonna be absolutely perfect, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna mess too much with that. All right, and before I drill this, I'm gonna give it one last thought. So my hole is gonna be perfect diameter. This is gonna come out a little bit and then down in. It's gonna be plenty enough room because the cabinet will end here. First layer. Insulation layer. Woo-hoo-hoo! Yeah, mama. That's one mighty fine hole you got there, Bus. All right. Well, now let's see if we can get this pipe to fit. Straight down, pretty tight fit, and I'll wind up spray foaming around that just to give this a good tight fit. just getting this little space around this sealed up, and I'm making sure that I've got enough room to put my fitting on as well. It's going to be pretty important, so just have to make 100% sure. Let me just tell you, I should have waited to do that. I'm just going to let it dry, and then I'll sand it off. I'll put my fitting up there, then I'll come back around with some more sealant. Can't really wipe it off at this point, so I'm going to show you guys some Facebook Marketplace finds that we got. So I'm going to see about fitting this one. I'm just going to reuse these ports right here. I need to fill this up and make sure to do a leak test on it to make sure it's not leaking from around any of these fittings. So the next thing I need to do is figure out where I'm going to bring some 12-volt wires through. I'm going to put probably 3 sets of 12-volt wires through here, maybe 4 sets. And what I'll do is I'll bring them through a piece of PEX. So I'll drill like a 1/2-inch hole right here, put a piece of PEX in there, foam it in, or make it as tight as I can, and then that'll provide a safe passage for the wires to come through. And those wires will be to put tank sensors on this and on the other side, to possibly put tank heaters on this and on the other side, and then for the ball valves. So I'll need 12 wires total, 12 14 gauge wires. I can get by without 14 gauge, but I'll have to look into that. But yeah, so I'll have 2 going to the tank sensors, 2 going to some heating mats, and then 2 going to a ball valve. Those will go to switches, halo switches that I've got inside. And then I'll hang this tank up with some metal and some threaded rods and some lock nuts and some lock washers. So this will be pretty secure. All right, everybody. Well, I've got to wait until next week to put the water tank in all the way because I've got some parts on order and I need to get the super strut for the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a couple of things that we've gotten done. So we've got all of our Havelock wool in. We'll be making a video on that here in the next couple of weeks. Went ahead and ran 6 lights up here. So what I'm doing is I'm going to run 2 lights between each hat channel, give us a total of 12 lights just up front. And I've gone ahead and run my switch wire and just taken it and run it through the same holes that I have the 110 wire going through, which is perfectly fine. I just read up on that. And coming back here, excuse the mess, I went ahead and redid my electrical back here. I didn't like all those wires just coming out and going through a hole in this piece of wood right here. So I went ahead and put them in some nice conduit, and that way they won't get jiggled around and they won't rub up against anything. Those wires just come straight back. Behind the headboard, there'll be a wooden piece here that's nice and pretty that'll cover all this up. That'll come after I actually put the cabinet system up here. I've got this little combiner box here that all of the electrical will actually go into, and so that thing's pretty nice. I'll put a link down in the description to that. This has got 15 spots for DC, and then it's got 6 spots for your AC. And I don't know, I think this will be good for just making sure everything's nice and tidy and clean. I've got the cover on it now, but when you open it up, all the wires just come in from the back there. So that's pretty easy. Yeah, so that box right there will get mounted onto a piece of 1/2-inch plywood, and it'll be mounted right here. And so that piece will be mounted toward this side of this box right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have server rack batteries right here, and they'll just that whole rack will just slide up into this area. It'll be kind of covered up because there'll be a big drawer right here. But if I ever need to get on it, if I ever need to get to it and work on it or whatever, all I gotta do is pull the drawers out, and then I can access it from back here, so no problem. My inverter and all that stuff more than likely will sit back in this cubby. I'll have the same deal, have a piece of plywood that fits back there, and so I'll have my inverter charge controller all in one system, hopefully. That'll be back there. Yeah, we've also laid out the countertop area and the cabinet area, the desk area, the little wall area here. So all that's been laid out, and it's kind of gonna come up this way and just kind of go boom. And then we're thinking that probably the stove will fit in this section right here. It's just going to be a challenge getting this countertop the way that we want it, and getting this stove fit in to where it doesn't look weird. So that'll be a challenge, but it'll be a good challenge. One more thing is I've decided that I am going to put a separate tank directly across over here. So there'll be 2 gray water tanks, one here, and they'll both be about 35 gallons. The reason why I'm doing it that way is because I want for the weight distribution to be, you know, the same on the bus. Well, all right, I think that'll do it for this week. Next week we'll finish installing that water tank and get it all hooked up and working. We'll see you guys next week. I appreciate you so much watching and leaving all the comments, the kind words, and just really appreciate everybody. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.